Hi guys, I'm Stefan, welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to introduce to you the travel logbook binder. So this is a new invention of mine that I essentially created for myself to organize all my travels, but I quite like the idea, so I'm making it available for everybody to purchase, and it might fit your own organizational needs as well. And in this video I want to talk about what the actual binder is about and how you can use it and what it can be used for. I have three main products which are all travel related. The first one is the Ultimate Travel Journal Binder. Then I have the Travel Logbook, and I also have very soon, within a week or two, the photo book printing service, which is going to be again in a binder format that I've shown you a few weeks ago. Links will be below to that one. So there will be three travel related products to archive your memories, and in a separate video I'm going to tell you the difference between the three products. But basically the travel logbook binder is a special edition of the travel journal binder, which is basically for very frequent travelers who want to archive their memories in a concise and organized way. And I do know that there are 100 apps now where you can do things like this, but I'm one of those people that wants to stay away from screens as much as I can. And there's just something very calming about journaling, or writing things down and writing on paper and organizing memories. So that's why I created this, and now I want to show you what's inside. So the binder there's going to be a lot more versions for the binder, but it basically looks like this right now. So it's a cream linen, and it has a world map on it in the background and travel logbook, and then you can obviously personalize your name on it in the bottom, and the spine says the same, and the back, and you've got some golden corner protectors. And when you open it, it's basically, we can see that it's a binder, which the idea is that you can easily open it and you can customize the insides as you wish. You can always add more things to it, you can reorganize it, you can take things out. Because the biggest problem with book-bound journals or anything that you want to write in a book-bound thing is that once you make a mistake or something is not in the right order, you're stuck, you can't fix it, and you can basically bin the whole thing because it's not fixable. But with binders, you can get around that issue. You can always fix something, you can always take something out, you can always redo it. So if you have OCD or kind of perfectionism, then binders are much better for the mind than having bound books. So basically what this is it has three sections. So the first section is going to start with some bucket lists and bean maps. So you've got a world map where you can color in all the countries that you've visited, and then you have a separate map for each section of the world where the countries are quite small, so it's easier to see, like for example USA states, because I know that one is very popular. You've got Africa, and then you also have South and Central America, you have Southeast Asia, and then once you are done with the coloring maps, even if that's not your thing, then you have the bean and wish bucket list. So it's basically again a list of countries from each continent of the world, and each country has two boxes. And the left box is a wish box, so you tick it if you want to visit that country at some point in your life. And the right box is a bean box, so once you visit it, you tick it. And this way you can see like all the countries you visited and all the ones that you wish to visit. So again, it's just a written version of what you would find in very popular apps. And then you've got this for each continent, and again you have one for the United States, for the separate states, because again I know that's a very popular thing to do. And then you go into the main section of the binder, which is basically you've got tab dividers, 10 tab dividers in it. You can obviously add more if you want to. And all of these are blank, so you can customize them as you wish. You can use them to add years on them, so basically organize your trips by year, or you can use them for geography or one trip, or whatever you want. You can use the tab dividers for your own organizational needs. I'm using it for years because I want to see all my travels broken down by year. So if I go, for example, to 2025, which is the most recent, there is one sheet here, which is the budget sheet. And that one is basically for every trip that you've made in that year, you're going to enter it with the entire budget spent on the trip. And on the second page, there's a grand total for the entire year. And you can do this for every single year, so you can basically aggregate all your trips and see how much you spent on traveling, which, you know, is not something that everybody can do because we don't all track our finances, but it's a good thing to see if you want to be more conscious about your travels. The second such sheet, which is a yearly sheet, is the flight log, which to me is really important. To you it might not be so important, but I know many people are quite obsessed with flights and logging flights. And this sheet, again, you can log every single flight that you had within a year, and it has a date, a flight number, from, to, the airline, the class, whether it's business class, economy, premium economy, and you can even add the tail number if you know, a plane spotter or you want to fly in every single plane. It's just something that you can log as well. Now, if you had a lot of flights and you don't fit into these 2 pages, that's the beauty of the binder. You can just add another flight log page into 2025 and carry on. So all of these are customizable. You can add more or you can take it out completely if you're not interested in flights. The third yearly sheet is the one for accommodation or hotels. And here again, you can list all the hotels that you went to in that specific year. Now here you've got the name, the location, the date, and I put there a rating just so you can see which hotel stood out the most for you, which one was the best. And that's not necessarily the rating that the hotel provides, but your own rating, like how you rated that specific establishment. And then after the hotel accommodation, you've got the trip details. And this is the most concise way you can write about a journey, because the travel journal, the other version of this binder, is more for journaling and doodling. So lots of blank pages and line pages, and there's lots of space for writing and stories and putting in photos. This one is very concise because, as I said, this is for very frequent travelers who want to see all their trips in one binder. So on this trip details page, there is a map at the top where you can basically draw your route or your path where you were flying. Obviously, it's a world map, so very short distant trips within one country aren't going to be visible very well, but you can always add another map if you want onto the second page. And then you've got the title, the date, the budget, visited countries, and the highlights, like what were the best moments of the trip. And on the back side of that trip details, you've got the itinerary page, which is basically a list where you've got for each date or each day you can write down what was going on. Now, the event section of this page can be used for anything, for flights, for hotels, for day trips, you know, anything. So I basically put there the flight and then what hotel I check in, if I went on a day trip, or what was the main event of that day. So you can see a very nice breakdown of that actual trip, like what you did on each day. And it's much easier to remember, and it's very concise. Again, nothing too lengthy or in detail, but you can see the itinerary. The next page again is optional, and that's the budget page where you can go into more detail about your spending. And on the back side of this budget, you've got stories, doodles, and photos. So if you do want to add in another big photo, or you know, some very important story that you want to make sure you archive, then you can use this last page for that. You can also add in a map, you know, of that specific country, or you can add in a hiking map, or you know, whatever you want. So that's basically the trip section. And for each trip, you're going to do one of these trip sections, and you can categorize these by year. Now, if you want to write more about these journeys and you need another 10 pages to write down all the stories and add in photos, you can do that too, because all the inserts that you can buy for the travel logbook are the same as for the travel journal, and the travel journal has a lot more options for writing, so line pages, blank pages, and you can add those in if you want to have longer stories for certain trips. So it's really customizable, and as I said, because it's a binder, you can add in as many pages as you need to, and you can always change your mind about, you know, how you want to carry on, and depending on how many trips a year you take. Now, apart from this, there's also a few pages here which you can use, but they're not necessary, but they come with the starter kit. And one is a separate sheet for hotels and accommodation. So this one is kind of a review page that you can keep for your hotels, almost like a TripAdvisor on paper, or you can use it for your most favorite hotels. And this one is a full page for one establishment. And here is the name, the city, country, date, the hotel's star rating and my own star rating and the type of the accommodation, budget, mid-range or luxury. You can add 2 photos there and some pros and cons. And again, on the back, you can add some stories or more photos. And the second one is an airline review, which is again very similar to the hotels. It's a full page and it has a lot of things here to fill in. So you basically put in the name of the airline, then the country, whether it's part of an alliance and whether you're a member of it. And then for each short haul and long haul, it's broken down into economy, premium economy, business and first class. And you have catering, seat service, entertainment and overall. So you can really rate these airlines for yourself if you're into that. Again, not everybody has to use these sheets. You can use the ones that are relevant to you. But if you like airlines, this is a really good page to kind of make a note to yourself, like which airline was the best to you in which specific category on short haul, long haul, and so on. And on the back side, again, you can either add the photo of yourself on that plane or the actual plane or the logo of the airline, whatever you want. There's always space on the back side for some creativity. And these are the main pages inside. There's the option to buy memorabilia pockets, which are plastic pockets that go inside, and you can put in memorabilia like, you know, currency, tickets, boarding passes, whatever you want to keep with a specific journey. And you can also add photos in. Now, the photo section and the story section is really a question whether you are doing photo books for yourself or whether you like scrapbooking. If you like scrapbooking, then this binder is perfect for that because you can add and remove as much as you want to, and you can turn it into a photo book by adding stories and sticking in photos and so on. If you already do your photo books and that's your main archive for memories and you write your stories into your photo books, then the purpose of this binder would be just to really see every single trip in one place. So you could easily flick through and find trips by year or by geography, because obviously if you have one photo book for each trip, you're never going to see all your trips in one beautiful binder. So that's the travel logbook, which is available now on the website traveljournalcompany.com, but there will be links below. And you can also order maps if you want to put them in. You can order digital maps and you can print them out, or we can print them out for you and you can stick them in, or you can add them in as a punched photo. But more on that later. And as I said, in my next video, I'm going to talk about the photo book printing service, which is changing now because last year when I started the photo book service, the binding and the editor was the biggest issue, and that's why I needed to discontinue it. But now I'm going to restart it because I do want people to benefit from HD inkjet printing, and it's going to be in a binder format, so you can add your pages in. And I showed you my own binder photo book, and many of you really liked it. So I want to offer it to everybody now, and you will be able to buy it as just inserts and also as a binder, but you will need to edit your own pages and send it to us as a PDF for printing. But again, more on that in the next video. If you have any more questions about this travel logbook, leave them in the comments and let me know what you think about it. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon.